Laura. Well, welcome so much, Laura. Thank you.
Hi.
Yes, I will turn the microphone over to you. Everyone, welcome Laura.
Oh, okay. There's no one else that needs to read. Okay. Uh, so this is a Tears of Rhyme, a poem that I came up with called Toxic Shock Cure. Political views, like bacteria not visible to the naked eye, may be the source of hysteria. To spew hate creates a need to identify fringe groups, may regurgitate outrage. Before it's too late, seek the cure to rectify. Use the antibiotic of compassion to set the stage against that hate, harmful microorganism. Insurrection spreads the bacteria of rage. Hate is an infection within fundamentalism. A bacterium that divides can spread toxicity. Cure the infectious source of sensationalism. The cause of infection could come from publicity. Public figures vie for attention from you. These bacteria of hate can multiply rapidly. One splits and becomes two. Two become four. Four become 8. Don't let that be you. Do not let things escalate more. Let peace be the way to hydrate. Do not allow your blood pressure to soar. Reduce the dangerous toxicity of hate. Stop this bacteria from propagating division. Don't be the one to balk at this fate. The cure is to seek and envision. Let it be okay to listen to each other. Before you speak, consider a revision. Act quickly to pull the plug from the words you may utter. Stop toxic shock before it becomes deliria. Compassion is the antibiotic we need to recover.
Thank you, Laura. No, a strong message of, I want to say, understanding and compassion as opposed to acting out of violence. That's wonderful. Everyone, I see that Maya Trahimjic and Bory Thach are together in the room, which is wonderful because Bory, of course, correct me if I'm wrong, Bory, you edited the quarterly that
Yeah,
we are featuring this afternoon.
yeah.
That's terrific. And we had quite a turnout, Maya, as you can see. I've started a recording, and at least we got Laura. Laura was our first reader, so we were just getting underway. Is there
Right.
anything I need to do? Do I need to, are you in as the host? Do you have control?
No, I don't have control. You have control because you started the meeting when I was driving back from visiting my grandson in Redondo.
Okay.
And he didn't want to let me go because we were working on coloring, and he designed a picture of, I just have to tell you, Adam in a suit of a robot boy with a ninja kangaroo tail. So ninja kangaroo tail, people, I mean, it beats every poet on earth. Anyways, I couldn't leave on time because of the ninja kangaroo tail. Let's put it this way. So now I'm here. I'm very happy to see a huge turnout, both for the featured poet with a book, which is this wonderful book, Flourishing, Florescence, by Elizabeth Yahn Williams, as well as we have this amazing second feature from the quarterly. Last time we had a quarterly reading, we had like a turnout of 3. So therefore, I thought I should connect the quarterly to something else and have people reading together. But I think before we get into the book, and I'll introduce the 2 features, both the translator and the poet will be reading in alternatively. So we hear the poems together, and I think we have a video recorded, so it's going to be with art and everything. It's going to be quite lovely, I'm pretty sure. But let's hear from one more open mic reader. So who'd like to go? Raise your hand. I don't know if I see everybody.
No.
I see
Amira.
Mira. I
Amira
see
would like to
Marlene. Marlene maybe wants to try it again.
Okay, Marlene.
All right, you can hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Okay. This is a poem I wrote when I went to a life story recording class at Glendale College, but it wasn't at the college. It was at a elementary school in Montrose. And it's about how it feels to go back to school, the school. Verses in black ink hint through the paint on the ladies' room stalls. Toilets are set low for the ghosts of little girls. Secrets of hundreds congeal in the mirrors, reflecting on the faces of white-haired seniors and of dark young women resting from the English lesson. Shame and rumors, high laughter and child song live carelessly in corner cracks. Drinking water runs rusty brown, tastes dry. Walls bear cracks like wrinkles, and ceilings keep a diary of rainstorms. This old building, discarded by school children and the Board of Education, is a sweet haven for we, the people who love to learn, to do it all again. And the second one from this book, Eclipse, from many years ago, a visit home. I'm working on this one. I drove up the hill to Country Club Drive, pulled into the driveway and parked behind my father's lifeless Impala. I remembered the last time we passed on the road, he in the Chev and I in my little black Renault, and how we would wave. I remembered my joy. Our two cars were parked beneath the elm. The sound of birds screeched out thought. Their raucous cries mocked my silent one. My father had died in the hospital. His car had no one to put it away. The kitchen was cold and lifeless. No coffee dripped tauntingly. No dusting of crumbs danced in the center of family. His chair was cold brown leather. His favorite picture hung over the mantel of a black-brown woman. It had lost its hue. The woman's eyes were blank, taking her death leave. The cold house was perfectly arranged, ready for a house beautiful photographer. His closet, confused by lack of information, held warm textured suit coats and fresh ironed shirts. I put on a brown tweed jacket, closed the door and turned out the light. His pipe was in the pocket. I held it, sniffed, then put it in my mouth. It tasted cold. I had a cold smoke. The smell was like my daddy. The coat wrapped arms around me and I felt safe for the last time. I danced in a circle, remembering the waltz he taught me, and I walked through it over and over, the house I had left myself in. My magnolia tree asked me not to go, but the house was no longer mine, though it visited me in dreams. Even now, after this many years, the dust of my essence hides in corners and cracks. My little songs flit along the ceiling boards. The heat from a floor furnace looks for a young woman huddled close, studying her finals during a cold night. My tree sings my voice in the windstorm. And that's where it stops. Thank you.
All right, we have Christian Hall also raising hands, so we'll do this one more, and then we move to the first feature. Hedy, you also wanted to read, but we'll put you, if you can, after the first feature because you belong with California Quarterly, okay?
Thank you.
Very good. So, Christian Hall, do you need to be on?
Oh, hi. I don't have the quarterly with me, but I could show you a poem which I've written, one of my original poems.
Okay, Christian, I think that's okay. I think they're saying it's all right for you to proceed.
But I will share with you a very powerful. I am known for poems about fantasy and fun things, but I want to tackle a very serious issue, which is drug abuse. So you guys listen to me?
Yes. Yes.
It's called Say No to Drugs. Never start taking drugs that can make your life miserable and lead you down to a path where you'll find so unbearable. Don't even think about spending your hard-earned cash on tobacco, alcohol, weed, and other kinds of trash. Drug abuse is a serious issue that affects adults and kids alike, from musicians to movie stars to dear old Uncle Mike. When a person is addicted to drugs, it can affect his mind and cause him to leave the life he once knew way behind. Everywhere you look, from small towns to big city streets, you will see drug addicts getting high from their heads down to their feet. And if you thought that you wanted to fit in with the hip kids at school by doing drugs, well, then you're wrong. Taking drugs is not cool. Getting hooked on drugs can cause you to lose all your money. So instead, spend your cash on food, books, or a plush bunny. Furthermore, drug abuse hurts everyone in the family, and with couples, it can lead to marriages ending badly. Addiction, thoughts on suicide, turning to a life of crime, joining street gangs, and getting arrested and thrown in jail to serve time. You are far more likely to face those terrible consequences should you choose to take drugs. So please use your common senses. Resist the urge to light up a cigarette and smoke. It can hurt your lungs and cause you to choke. Stay away from chewing tobacco, gals and fellows, for it can turn your teeth into an ugly yellow. Both the cigarette and tobacco contain the deadly nicotine, which can make you so addicted that your brain will end up being unclean. Nicotine can also do a great deal of damage to your heart, causing it to beat faster and eventually break apart. Don't even ever think about drowning yourself in alcohol and beer. You should never get drunk when you go out with your peers. You can easily become a heavy drinker and end up as an alcoholic slave. And if you choose to drink and drive, be sent to either prison or an early grave. Lastly, you must never ever get hooked on heroin and weed, as well as meth and cocaine that might make your eyes bleed. Even the tiniest bit of those drugs could send you straight to the hospital or lead to you being escorted to detention by the principal. Lots of clueless people have taken drugs and bitten the dust. If you don't want to end up like them, then you really must find the courage and the strength within your heart to say no to those dreadful drugs and do your part. People are working hard to ensure that no kid shall ever try drugs and to encourage children to chase their dreams and receive only hugs. Like the old saying goes, better safe than sorry. I hope that you all remember the moral of my story. So remember, dear friends, to say no to drugs. Instead, choose rainbows, puppies, ice cream, and ladybugs.
Thank you, Christian. That was very good. I'm sure our professor will be very proud of you.
A strong message for those at an influential age.
Very good positive ending of a long list of negative effects of drugs, which I know all about because my principal job is a senior director of planning and development for a drug abuse facility. So that's what I write about all day long. So thank you for capturing it in a very nice and witty rhyme. I think it'll be good for kids also to read in our program. So send it to me. I'll give you an email later. It's fun. All right.
So what is your email address? Can you send
I'll give
to
it
me?
to you at the end of a reading. Right now, we need to proceed with the topic, which is our featured poets, which is a wonderful program we have prepared for today. We need to start on the program. So this is Flourishing, Florescence, Elizabeth Yahn Williams, art by Marion Wong, translation by Edith Jonsson-Devillers. So there's a long biography also posted on our website. Just a couple words from this. Elizabeth Williams is a poet and playwright who prefers performing poetic dramas to practicing law. She has a degree at Loyola Marymount University. She was also a UCLA trained educator, and she was a most distinguished honorary life member of Mira Costa College Phi Theta Kappa chapter for her work in mentoring. She got grants and stipends from the Ford Foundation, Publishing University Publishers of San Diego, Vermont Studio Center, National Audio Theatre Foundation, University of London at Queen's Mary College, Summer Literary Seminar in Montreal, or Virginia Center for the Arts in France. So she's quite an international woman. Let me see if somebody wants to come in, so I'll admit the person. And she won a lot of prizes, published thousands or hundreds of haiku in many journals, and edited a whole bunch of books, both a classic series and the books worked in collaboration with others. So we have a website address on our website. That's a little summary of the amazing accomplishments of Elizabeth. And now I'll introduce briefly the translator, Edith Jonsson-Devillers. She was born in France and she liked reading and speaking foreign languages, and she specialized in literature from various countries, obtaining a degree in the Sorbonne. And she was later working as a translator. Then she met her husband in Sweden and then settled with her family in San Diego. Another international traveler. She ended up teaching languages, got a PhD from the University of California in San Diego, and then founded her own French and Spanish Institute school. She's also interested in translation, obviously. She translated writers into English, French, or Spanish, and she worked also in poetry workshops. And for fun, she's also likes music and ethnic and folk dance. So she enjoys, she says, in her retirement, she enjoys everything that reflects the culture and wisdom of all people and nations. I like that sentence very much. So please welcome our co-features. I will pass on the baton, that is control of the share screen, to Elizabeth. I'll make it multiple participants. So now our feature can share the screen and hopefully we'll proceed to see a most amazing presentation. Please welcome Elizabeth and Edith.
Yes.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you, Village Poets, CSPS, Zoomers and viewers for having us today as we feature Flourishing, Florescence, comfort reading as we emerge from COVID's crisis. Rare Bird, our black and white feathered fish, welcomes you. Our mascot was created by Culver City artist Marion Wong, winner of many awards around the region of Los Angeles. And next, here is Dr. Edith. Is it coming out? Are we all on?
Okay, I think we're up. Can everyone see it now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can see the screen. Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's our mascot, Rare Bird. Hello, Rare Bird.
Yeah, we've set this up as a presentation, sort of an ad for the book, starting out in some ways, and technical difficulties here.
Oh, no. We have a brand new computer. Please, computer.
We got an old computer tech. Okay, there we go.
Okay, all right. So you've already heard a little bit about Marion and Edith. From me, from Marion, and from Maya, you've heard about Edith. So we shall.
Anyway, here is Edith talking about herself.
First of all, I am also an educator in languages. I love languages, and in particular English, French, and Spanish. And I have been doing this practically all my life. And I also love poetry, so that I was delighted when Elizabeth proposed to me to translate her new book of poems. And I think that's about all I can say about myself. Thank you.
And this picture was taken about 5 years ago when we did our first project and had a workshop on our first book, Haiku for an Artist, the French-English version. And here we are at the Lake San Marcos Writers, with our illustrator as well as the three of us. And Bob, again, here today is the MC. Take it away.
Okay, now, this may be a little bit redundant from the introduction, but Elizabeth Yahn Williams flourishes as a poet, playwright, educator, speaker, and MC. A native Ohioan, she has earned grants for studies in several states and foreign countries. She is recognized as a Marquis Who's Who Lifetime Achiever in Law and Writing by the Phi Theta Kappas at Mariposa College as a most distinguished, honorable lifetime member of their Alpha Chi Lambda chapter for mentoring their honor students. She appreciates that she has enjoyed an expansive life from directing in her community theaters to teaching creative problem solving and poetry at libraries, colleges, and churches. Often seen emceeing or workshopping with her partner in rhyme, Robert Thomas Lundy, that's me. She offers more about them as a poetic couplet at www.witherandyon.com.
We had a lot of good mentors on our way, all of us, Mary and Edith and I, and we are so grateful to them. Pat Connor and I experienced wonderful teaching through the Religious of the Sacred Heart of Mary at the Marymount various institutes, and Pat herself is a mentor. So Edith, Marion, and I wanted to dedicate our book to our mentors. And so you see, we have Loving Turtles doing that.
Now,
Flourishing comes from supportive friends, and we thank all those today who are hosting and watching this presentation, and those who helped us get to this stage, live or virtual. Author Mary Lenore Quigley is with us today. She's one such person, together with her husband, Patrick, who provided a lot of the photographs in this presentation. On reading Flourishing, Florescence, she wrote the following review.
Mary was kind enough to write a review about Flourishing, Florescence, and I'd like to read that review. The gift of poetry is its ability to provoke thought, surprise you, comfort you, touch your heart like no other literary works of art. Flourishing Florescence is such a gift. It's a master gardener's display of some of her finest flowers to fill your senses. When the gift is represented in another language, a whole new poetic window opens. Elizabeth Yahn Williams and Edith Jonsson-Devillers have created another gift to the inspirational art of Marianne Long. Bon voyage.
Mary Lenore Quigley's first novel, God Danced, is for young readers and those still young enough to dream. By Fools Like Me is a great introduction to Mary's poetry chapbooks. Going Home and Remnants, Incredible Ink, her latest novel, is a memoir about the search for her birth family. In 2004, Mary founded NCAP, the North County Authors and Poets, an organization that promotes and encourages the efforts of San Diego authors and poets, small or large press. That's where we met her and emceed with her husband, Pat, pictured here. And this is a review that Kathy Lundy Darengowski wrote.
And was published in CSPS's second letter of this year. And we're hoping.
Poet and California State Poetry Society member Elizabeth Yahn Williams is premiering her new bilingual collection written in English and French in collaboration with her gifted translator, Edith Jonsson-Devillers, a display of the mastery of free verse and rhyme. Flourishing Florescence includes evocative haiku, senru, along with other poetic forms. Here, Elizabeth Yahn Williams investigates the many ways that life, enhanced by poetry, encourages each of us to flourish. Whether as a reader you are looking for inspiration or for motivation, One or more of her poems will speak to you in words both lyrical and stimulating. With colorful imagery, Elizabeth creates poignant vignettes that will relate to your own life in unexpected ways. You will find humor in the rhymes of perusing the parrot, pathos in grand piano, and a mix of emotions from haiku that capture with brevity illusions of time and space. With haunting and vivid language, Williams has a gift for choosing the right words in the right place.
Because we received good reviews from our Haiku for an Artist series, we had the courage to take the entire time of COVID and fill our minds with the positive thoughts about what it will be like as we emerge from the COVID crisis. And so it was that we began our book with the backstory, the midwinter of a plague. In midwinter snow, birds eat berries, groundhogs dream, all await spring.
Dans la neige, en plein hiver, les oiseaux grignotent peut-être, des marmottes belles, tous attendent le printemps.
From paucity.
And so, from paucity, fresh visions for an era arise with Felix.
En temps de pénurie, la vision d'une ère nouvelle surgit avec le phénix.
Go. Time comes for this parallel reader's mascot, rare bird, to announce.
Victoire, le temps est venu.
Spring has blossomed, buds appear, life renews, the future is here. Dawn is a favorite theme throughout Flourishing, Florescence, as seen at pages 72 and 73 in the Sunrise poems from Santa Fe, where HNA met in 2017. Poppies bedeck hills, golden at sunrise, Easter morning.
Les coquelicots ornent les collines, dorées au lever du soleil. Matin de Pâques.
These poems include sunrise at the poet's home in Oceanside. Dawn's rose light softens, bronze that fringe valleys cradle. Oceanside Christmas.
La lumière rose de l'aube adoucit les frondes qui festonnent le creux de la vallée. Noël à Oceanside.
I have loved mornings continues the theme of dawn.
I have loved mornings. I have loved mornings when the sun's rays feature finches at my fence, hummers among the heather, flaxen oils hunting in and out of hedges. I've enjoyed each dawn where my hearthroom door opens to hear a mockingbird on my neighbor's chimney, wrens chirping at my rooftops. I've applauded every advent of an adolescent dog who dares to take a drink from the fountain just outside behind the desk where I am writing. Without turning, I watch her. My first secret of the day.
as Kathy Lundy-Derengowski states in her CQ2 review, Kathy.
Mornings at Oceanside Harbor, page 48, introduces the second theme of water. Whether at a dock or on a paddle boat that streams along the Ohio River, a water setting provides a good place to contemplate life's changes, as in this excerpt from Celebrating Mid-Century at page 44. In the wake of years,
Technical difficulties, excuse me. Whoops. Okay.
In the wake of years of white-capped currents, and as the stacked steam dissipates, our concerns do too.
Okay.
changes occur in relationships too, as shown in Watching the Water, page 50, and in this shaped poem at page 68, entitled My Rain in Spain. He's giving up his hike today to meet my plane. I've been away, and perhaps missed.
He's baked a honeyed cherry pie and vacuumed fleas and washed the cat and wondered, while I roamed the seas with other artists, have I kissed? Sometimes we need retreats in Spain to find our way to love again. Some things never change.
Some things never change, as seen at page 80 in Sunday's Oracle Crane. You're not going quail hunting this weekend, it seems. You could spend one Sunday a month in church, Mother dictates. Tethered, Dad drives us downtown. In church, we confess omissions and commissions and listen to a 22-minute sermon on missions, praying for air-conditioned relief from Fresno's summer sizzle that might have been bought from the basket's funds. Communal bread broken and our bodies soaking by 11:30, we all feel washed of mottliness and mill into the Studebaker that drives onto the dusty lanes of Big Garden, where Dad stops the car to steal figs.
When asked about a favorite poem, Elizabeth frequently quotes from her finely feathered fog haiku.
Finely feathered fog luffs away from croaking frog. Morning is broken.
Brouillard bigrement brouillé. Un batracien égaré se balade, aube brisée.
So, how do author and translator collaborate?
Having a history of friendship over the years is really helpful. Having an intelligent partner makes the mixture richer, and a sense of humor creates a flourishing brio, a word Edith likes to use. Elizabeth knew Edith's priorities in translation from having listened to her as a guest speaker when Bob and Elizabeth, as Hither and Dion, emceed National Authors Day.
Together, we agreed that translation should, 1, capture the essence of the poem. 2, illustrate the poetry's aesthetics. 3, reflect the poet's feelings. 4, retain the original form where possible. And 5, follow the literal wording without sacrificing all of the above.
Which means literal wording occasionally goes down the drain. Marion and Elizabeth are frequently asked how they work together. And rather, as with Edith, it's a back and forth sort of thing. sometimes needing third-party intervention. When first collaborating on haiku for an artist, the poet wrote to the artist's first 20 abstract images in a project that started as a chapbook. After Edith's translation, the group decided to create a book which involved additional art and then illustrated more of Elizabeth's poetry. Here, it was a group decision to address the subject of flourishing Florescence. Marion focused on the theme, creating fanciful motifs in black and white that fit the general subject and inspired more poetry. On literary completion, she added more illustrative art. Of course, the group agreed that Rare Bird provided a great mascot for the book's cover. The author particularly loved fanfare, which the winged snakes were flying in the last slide. In fact, winged things appear to be a third theme of flourishing Florescence. And both Elizabeth and Dr. Edith appreciate the artist's addition of an iconic symbol of peace in bird with sprig, as seen on page 125.
Cloaked in dark gray, spring wakes from her winter sleep. By playing possum, she retains her regal dream of being princess pampered, and so reluctantly backs into adulthood.
Vêtue de gris sombre, le printemps s'éveille de son hivernage. En faisant le mort, il s'accroche encore à son rêve grandiose d'être choyé comme un prince. Puis, à contre-cœur, il retourne à l'âge adulte.
And
Marion is thrilled with fanfare.
Enhanced by the art and illustration of Marion Wong, as well as the French translations of Dr. Edith, this collection appeals on multiple levels. Returning to pages for recapturing insight, you will want to rediscover a turn of phrase or the hint of a memory from this skilled and acclaimed trio, whose idyllic renditions will remain with you long after you have closed this book.
Kathy Lundy Derengowski is a native of San Diego County. She is an active member and co-facilitator of the Lake San Marcos Writers Workshop. Her work has been published in the San Diego Poetry Annual, Summation, Expressis Anthology of Escondido Arts Partnership, California Quarterly, Silver Birch Press, Autumn Sky Daily, Turtle Light Press, and the Journal of Modern Poetry, and by Samson Lowe in the UK. She has been a guest blogger on Trish Hopkinson's Selfish Poet site. Kathy has won awards from the California State Poetry Society and has been a finalist in the San Diego Book Awards Poetry Chapbook category, and has been a judge for the poetry category in the San Diego Book Awards. On the way to flourishing, any
artistic effort requires passion, perseverance, and preparation. When the bus arrives, hop on, but don't go beyond the stop. Limit your creative group to a manageable size. Then listen. Listen. Listen some more.
And as in today's presentation, Flourishing features collaboration.
Just as in today's presentation, Flourishing features collaboration.
Okay, now why don't the two of you lean together and say that again?
All right, let me start from just as.
Yeah, closer. Go.
Just as in today's presentation, Flourishing features collaboration.
Great. Perfect, Elizabeth.
What a lovely presentation. Absolutely adorable. Thank you very much. It was just
Thank
so
you.
nice to hear all of you. Perfect. That was just amazing. How did you do those talking heads in the image? I've never seen that actually in a PowerPoint presentation. You could put a
Well, it's a feature I didn't know
Yeah, it's
PowerPoint
not magical.
possessed until fairly recently. Our creative writing instructor, Tony Hickman, uses the technique when he presents his lectures. And so I was motivated to thumb through the manual on PowerPoint until I figured out how to do it. It's my first attempt.
Oh, it's really worked very nicely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We got a couple pictures, the stills from the screen. So we'll post the photographs on the blog afterwards. So thank you. This was just so delightful. So much joy and everybody having so much fun. I really like those big beaming smiles at the end of a reading. So I really appreciate it. I loved the book when I got it. And then I heard, I thought we should put a review by Kathy Derengovsky in a poetry letter, and it's been put online and in our blog and also on the website. It was emailed to our subscription list, which is 400 people. So we really appreciate the amazing, lovely book. It was so nice to hear it in your voices. It's always good to hear the poetry in a poet's original voice. So one more time, big round of applause to Elizabeth, Edith, and Marion, and the team who made this presentation. So great job, the team. Awesome. One more applause. Yes, thank you very much.
Bravo.
Yeah, there was bravo, bravo. Yes. Before we move on to the second feature, I thought we'll do a couple open mic readers. I know that Hedy Habra wanted to read, but she is in a journal, so we'll put her in a journal. And actually, usually I close the reading with my poem, but since I wrote a brand new poem right now, I'd like everybody to mute yourself, if you please, first. So if you will mute to yourself, say me the word commuting, that would be nice. And I thought I wrote a new poem after driving, since I seem to be driving 80 miles per hour all the time. So that was one drive poem coming back from the beach. The 23rd of July is the day of clearing karma, untying knots on the thread of fate, breaking enchantments, reversing curses. Look at the moon, blood red and broken above the hilltop, huge like ancient pain passed on through generations. It follows you as you drive home after resting in the silver mist of the ocean, its waves, turquoise and jade, always moving, yet always the same. Look, the moon hides behind the black ridge of despair. Only a soft spot remains glowing on dark indigo sky. The road turns, you fly along 80 miles per hour, singing a nocturne, surprised by the white apparition straight above, a majestic platinum orb suspended in darkness. You remember that rust-red, once-in-a-century moon of prophecy, the fox moon that foretold disaster as it led you back from Paso Robles, Solvang, Santa Rosa on the way into disillusionment and regret. It was hard to understand, harder to believe in the existence of such twisted, demonic selfishness masquerading as affection. Pitiful. Yet the healing was real, the lessons learned, the karma is cleared, it is done. The moon now floats above the valley in its bright halo, distant and indifferent. You've learned the virtue of detachment. You've seen how desires of the heart led you astray. Like a moonbeam on cobalt waters of the bay, the path is clear, dazzling, brilliant. A star child, born to shine, you are blessed by the moon's radiance on this summer evening of July 23rd. You are home. The new age has just begun. So that was my Driving Karma Home poem. And now, without further ado, I will introduce Our great editor here is with me, Bory Thach, born in a refugee camp. No, raised in a
Yes,
refugee.
I was
born in a refugee camp. Cambodian escape from Vietnam. How does it work? I don't actually know, but
Well, my family were indigenous to South Vietnam.
oh, okay,
so
but they're
South Vietnam.
Cambodians, but from South
Yeah.
Vietnam. Okay.
So my parents left their home village and escaped after the communist takeover, and they met in the camps, and they got married. And 4 years later, I was born. And then 4 years after that, we were granted asylum. And I remember boarding a plane and going to the Philippines, because the Philippines at the time was a territory of the US.
Mhm.
And that's where they do the quarantines, ESL classes, and pretty much prepare you for arrival to the US. So when I landed in San Diego, I remember just looking outside the airplane window and commenting to my mom, like, wow, it's so bright over here. And she said, yeah, this is America, they have electricity. So now I don't even think about it anymore, but it's like, there was a time when I wasn't familiar with electricity or running water,
Wow.
stuff like that. So I definitely do not take that for granted. So.
That's awesome. And then you actually were in the army?
Yes, I enlisted in the US Army in 2007 when I graduated, because I wanted to give back to the country that took my family in, and to serve and understand the meaning of being American, And so at the time I wasn't even a US citizen. I was still just a permanent resident. But I was raised here, so I didn't think anything was different. But in actuality, I am different from people that are naturally born here. Mm-hmm. So I had to go through the process, and of course, being in the U.S. Army, they just put you at the top of the list. So I was on board the USS Battleship North Carolina, and did the whole ceremony there. It was all federal, fellow veterans were there, and service members, and I met a congressman and councilman from North Carolina there, and there was some news people, and they just asked us questions like, mm-hmm. How does it feel? And you definitely feel a change, like same thing when you raise your right hand and
swear allegiance to the flag. Yeah.
Exactly. Like
I did that. 2009. I'm a naturalized citizen too.
Exactly. So you do feel the shift. There is a change that takes place, mm-hmm. and so I pretty much did 3 things that I thought was a great achievement. I graduated, I joined the U.S. military, and then I became a U.S. citizen within the span of 2 years. So
that's awesome.
It was a big deal for me and my family, and so I do, find it very interesting how I could still be an American, but also have my roots.
Old country.
Yeah, from the the culture of Cambodia and the language that I still speak at home. And I feel like you don't have to give up your identity. You just gain a new one. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So there's no like, oh, I can't be, I can't assimilate because that's like giving up your identity. There's no such thing, really. I mean, I feel like you just gain a new one. So you never lost anything.
Yes, and you gained a lot because you got your degree in writing, and then you became a board member of California State Poetry Society. Yes, when I heard Bory's poetry reading with Cindy Reen, who is a wonderful poet, they did the project together. I liked it so much. I thought we could need some, younger people on our board who are under 60 for a change.
And it was also a collaboration.
So yes, it was a great collaboration and great thing. And then, so this is the very first that Bory edited. So I think I'll pass it on to Bory. This is your journal. And now we will maybe, I don't know if you want to read the introduction and then read your poem, or ask the poets from the book to be read first. It's all up to you.
Well, since it's my first time doing anything like this.
Go ahead. Just do it.
I mean, I'm just glad that Maya's here and she's, instruct me. So I'll just read the intro or the editor's note that I wrote. And then we can just have readers from the journal.
Yeah, we could just go from the beginning to the end. Whoever reader is there, we'll just check. We'll not read all the poems because it's too long.
Yes.
But we'll just see who is here, and then we'll just step in at the end and add some more poems we like particularly. I think it'll be the best if we just go through the readers, the authors from the journal first. Okay,
sounds good to me.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so being a new member of CSPS, I find that this is a learning experience for me. As Maya Chochnik calls poetry a cure for chaos, and I agree with her. Many times we go through periods of difficulty and sadness, but it is important to remember that these dark times will eventually pass by like the seasons. With winter comes spring. The universe has a way of balancing itself out in the end. I, for one, have to remind myself constantly how lucky it is to be alive. And every day is a new day to see the world differently. We find ourselves learning from each other's experience, mundane or extraordinary, whether it be through obstacles at work, as in Richard Mata's Another Play Day, where he wishes that he could be a kid again, or through the act of simply giving a little boy a bath before bed, in The Completeness by Alice Pirro, an insight into childhood innocence. The joy we find in our daily activities allows us to overcome grief with a brighter outlook when disaster strikes. It is a reminder to never give up hope, no matter how difficult the loss. Therefore, nothing should be taken for granted, not even our struggles. For the obstacles we defeat and the fears that die away become our strength, teaching us more about ourselves than any college or university. After wildfires, we can learn to plant a tree as a gift, to put down roots and stand our ground the way Miriam Arona does, because this is how the world grows anew. Mother Earth has a way of healing herself. Animals possess sacred knowledge in their simplicity. Knowing what they know, we too may survive the ravages of time. To live in the moment, that is true enlightenment through mindfulness. Claire Scott captures this in her poem, Cedar Waxwings, where hundreds of them are observed landing in the backyard. She describes watching the show from the window, a kaleidoscope of colors, sound, and motion. Even after they have flown away, she continues to stare at the empty privet tree in silent serenity. On a journey of self-discovery, chaos and turmoil threaten us, but the wisdom of the ancients survives through the ages. We live and learn from personal experiences. What better way to discover one's true self than to go through failure and heartbreak, reaching our breaking point and knowing that we can continue on further. I hope that you will also find these poems enjoyable and insightful to the soul. Thank you.
Very nice. That was a great introduction. Thank you very much. And now if you look at the journal, if somebody has it, we have Ruth Holzer. Is Ruth here? Oh, yes, there you are. Bravo. Okay, let me ask you to unmute. So, oh, you're already on.
Yeah.
Very good. Let me put you in the view.
Okay, well, thank you for inviting me and putting me on page 7, but I'll stay for everybody else. I'm out in Virginia where it's getting dark, as you can tell. My poem is called Blue Fantasia. Blue that dwells in larkspur and iceberg, in herons, little and great, in swaying lupin and wood thrush eggs nestled on the forest floor, on the magisterial covers of the Oxford English Dictionary, and in faded hydrangea petals pressed between its pages, in first prize ribbons, copper sulfate crystals, and the iridescent wings of the morpho butterfly, the hue of lobelia and gentian, of faceted sapphire, wild chicory at summer's end, and juniper berries in fall, is the color of mussels clattering in a bucket, not dreaming of steam, of eyewash cups, varicose veins, surgical scrubs, cigar smoke, gas flames, exhaust, the color of the policeman's uniform and his cruiser's flashing lights, of bruises, winter prisoners, the eyes of their guards, tattoos. Thank you.
Thank you. And the second poem is by Lavinia Blossom. I don't know if Lavinia is here. Let me see on the view when I have gallery.
I think she was here.
Oh, was she?
Oh, right
Okay.
there. She's right.
Oh, there she is. All right, there you go.
I'm here, but this is
hear
going to be a
from
tough
you.
one to actually convey because a lot of it depends on what you see on the page. So I'm not sure if this will come across. But just to give you a sense, first of all, I'm talking about how language can be misunderstood. Someone can say something and you totally mishear them. So I'm just going to tell you that the first word that I do that with, I break it into something else, is inattentive, and I make it inattent of. Ev is a name. So I'm going to give this a try. Mondegreen, and that's actually a term for this effect, just misunderstanding something. The sounds of words can create dreamscapes, render the world strange, and not only when one is hard of hearing or inattent of. Spoken syllables have always been material to sculpt, to melt. With them comes ambiguity. So try as we might to be crystal clear, giving adequate context as directions, some aspect of how we present words, be it enunciation or volume or pitch, may convey gibberish. What may seem perfectly forthright, marvelously, becomes muddled in another's ear. And we cannot always blame debilities or laziness. Still, best to persevere, to be exacting as possible, striving for accuracy in how we vocalize.
You have to see it though, because besides the inattentive, that is inattentive, we have material, which is material, right? Then we have ambiguity, which is ambiguity. I love this one. And then we have might to be. So might you be, what is it? Might to be, crystal clear. Aspect, so aspect. So, and then directions, which is, I don't know, directions. It's the best spelling of directions on the planet, actually. Directions. Very nice. I like it a lot. Okay, let's move on to the next poet. After this very witty misdirection of Mondegreen. Let me just see if Richard Mata is with us. I didn't see his name. So let's move on to the next poet, who is Nancy Foley. Nancy, it's yours. Unmute. You need to unmute.
Okay, thank you for inviting me, and congratulations to Elizabeth on her beautiful book. This poem called Nature's Cure, I was inspired to write during the pandemic when we were sequestered at our condo in Palm Desert, and there were observations that I made after the golf course was completely closed down. And so I will read you this poem. Once filled with the swishing sound of balls flying like rockets through the air, there is now a subtle silence when we walk along the cart path of the closed desert course. The luxurious lime green fairways stretch out before us under a turquoise sky. But instead of the smack of the ball, there is an almost motionless tranquility. Instead of the rumble of golf carts, we hear the rustle of gentle breezes through the cypress. Black crows fly in formation overhead like flags displaying their conquered land. Ducks that once filled the ponds now waddle along the surrounding banks, with ducklings following behind, as if they know the adversary has vanished. Coal-colored coots with bright white bills swim along the windswept reeds while a family of turtles peer out beneath the pond's edge. A bold brigade of Canadian geese with long necks stand like sentries guarding their young. If we dare step off the path, they honk in unison until we distance ourselves. On the 7th green, in a semicircle, 6 feet apart, a family of geese obey the signs of the times. In the 10th fairway, quite close to the cart path, a large turtle suns himself on the slope of the hill. He unmasks his head to greet us with a slight bow. At first glance, I notice no prejudice as the spotted brown duck bellies up to the orange-footed mallard. But then we notice one lone snow-white duck attempting to join others on the fairway, and the entire fowl family waddles away. From a distance are the sharp whistles of the mockingbird and the gentle moan of the mourning dove. 2 cactus wrens perch on the low branch of a cypress tree, poking at one another with their pointed beaks. In the deep rough, a rabbit hops through brambleweeds, and the usual raked bunkers now show prints scratched like hieroglyphics in the sand. Later, from the balcony, we watched the 15th Fairway Water Ballet, viewing jeweled choreographed sprays from the sprinkler system as the sun sets behind the cloud-draped chocolate mountains. Our breathing slows down, in, out, open, closed, unrest, rest, virus, cure. This members-only golf course has for a limited time become nature's playground, or perhaps nature's cure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very nice poem. How nature changes when people disappear, even for just a couple days or weeks, and then all of a sudden, all the other occupants come out. Just like in my house, I think that all these animals own my yard when I'm not here, and it's very populated with all the craziness. And I actually left the mattress up on the lawn, and then it had footprints all over, and it was all wet. So I figured something came over onto my little blanket and had fun. So we are listening to the whistling of a bird as we sit in the garden. So thank you very much for the beautiful reminder how close we are to nature. All right, for the next poet in the book is Cindy Harris. I don't know if Cindy's here.
I didn't see her either.
No, okay, let me just try to paste the picture at the same time. Okay, that's good. And we move on to Anna Jasińska, because she's Polish and I'm Polish. I wanted to, is Anna here? Anna,
yes, hello, hello.
Oh, there you are. All right, so you're reading your poem, yay. I was going to read it if you're not here, because I like it so much.
I will try.
I always step in and I mess up everybody's life, if I can.
Well,
Okay.
well, thank you for the opportunity that I can read my poem here. The title is Golden, like Golden State, and I was trying to describe my observations of California and people of California. Golden. Welcome, my fire. Set me ablaze with the flaming air of the Valley of Death. Fields of gold glow over the hills, golden blazes, golden blooms, and gilded dreams. So hungry, so true. Mesmerized, I raise my head like a poppy, looking lovingly at the sun. My golden desire, welcome. I'm ready to burn, live and die, brightened by your spark. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Lovely. Is Marcia Arieta here? Marcia, you see?
I
You
don't
don't
see
see
her
her.
name,
Okay. Then we have Anne-Marie Broom from New York. No?
I don't think she's here
Okay.
either.
So we have Carlo Di Orio from Florida. No? We have just a few. Okay. We have Margaret Sain about poetry. Edward Fisher. We don't have anybody from her.
I don't see
So
them
who is the
either.
next one? I think the next person we have with us definitely is Alice Perot. Alice, it's your turn.
Can she hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Hi, here I am in my little cottage in the middle of the country in New York State. And it's wonderful to see all your faces here. My poem is called The Completeness. And I wrote it after my grandson was in the bath and what happened, as you'll see in the poem. The little boy sat in the bath, twinning the fingers of each hand together, gradually figuring out how to link his hands, the hands each alive as individuals he was making one. His attention so full and direct, as though he were creating a whole universe out of his two hands, a moment of completeness I could not break. And even though it was time for him to get out of the bath and go to bed, finally I said gently, "Okay, that's great. I see your hands." And he gave me a huge smile and let his hands separate again. And he quite willingly climbed out of the tub to be rubbed dry. He seemed very happy that I had noticed, but then who would not? I suppose many in their rush forward to complete tasks, to get things done, to be on time, and to follow the schedule are slightly blind. And what is so wonderful, after all, about a little boy in the bath playing with his hands? They would simply say briskly, "Out of the bath now," and the hands would drop limply, the face would fall, the eyes lose a bit of glimmer, and the boy become just a little bit broken.
Thank you very much. That's very lovely. Very nice. Okay, let me see.
Oh, I can't hear myself. I have the earplugs in, and I just hope you could hear it.
Yes, it was very good. And it's such a beautiful poem. You know, just you are so observant with children. You have to appreciate this. You really see what they're doing and what they pay attention to. I think it's a great gift. All right, who do we have from the book? Anna, Elizabeth, Miss Webb, do you know? Hedy, I think, is here. So let's go to Hedy's poem because she's been waiting. What is a page? What, 57? No.
54.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead. You're right there.
Okay, I'm going to ask to share screen because it's an ekphrastic.
Yes, indeed, yes.
Poem. Okay, so I'll go there. So this painting of a bride was painted by a Tunisian artist. Excuse me?
You have to show the screen because you have to click share. It disappeared. You have all these different screens. So click on the share and then one screen will be there. What's going on? I don't know.
Can you see it?
We see all your screens. Okay, oh, that's me. Oh, that's me. Sorry. No, it's good. Sorry. My bad.
Okay, so everybody sees the painting?
I see it.
Okay, it's a painting of a young bride and her wedding dress is extremely colorful, very typical of North African wedding dresses. And I was inspired to write a pantoum after this, seeing this painting, showing all the joy and the exuberance of that moment for the young girl. And I wrote it from a later perspective, imagining her reminiscing upon her life. And so this poem is going to be a part of a new book I'm finishing of ekphrastic poetry.
The title is, Or Would It Have Made a Difference Had I Known? After the Bride by Safia Farhat. Little did I know that when I'd wear my wedding gown, I'd be crossing a revolving door to a path of no return. At 6, I pricked my fingers with my needlepoint, learning to be the best bride a man could wish for. I'd be crossing a revolving door to a path of no return, away from clearings where I dip my feet into the stream, learning to be the best bride a man could wish for, as I try not to burn myself with pots and pans. Away from clearings where I dip my feet into the stream, I bit my tongue to learn my mother-in-law's recipes. As I try not to burn myself with pots and pans, little did I know how heavy unwanted weights could be. I bit my tongue to learn my mother-in-law's recipes, felt my heart shrink year after year till it lost its beat. Little did I know how heavy unwanted weights could be. With graying hair, I still feel the need for a warm touch. Felt my heart shrink year after year till it lost its beat. Night after night, I sleep silently between the sheets. With graying hair, I still feel the need for a warm touch. Recapture an elusive smile in a face with receding features. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Very nice.
And then thanks for sharing the picture. It's a really beautiful picture. As you say, exuberant in joy of a new bride. Very nice. Thank you for capturing that moment. We just noticed that Lavinia Blossom has another poem. So we'd like you to read your second poem because you have a second poem in the book. And then I don't think we have any more poets from the journal, but we could read a couple more poems from the book. So Lavinia Blossom, it's your turn again.
Okay, thank you. This one is called Sheer Optimism. All endings temporary. The very idea shunned. Pauses become the new edge. More fender, cushion, and curve so that the minute and second hands swerve slowly and always return. What were once breakdowns, now commas, naps, momentary gaps in a subcategory of continuum. Words like death, fail, cease, redefined to synonyms of seen, open, shining doorway, soft, lifting kite. Consternation become akin to mixing bowl with an alternate meaning of swirling multicolored lights. And dread conveying a type of shivering that warms. All prophecies except those that equate with everlasting joy, gathered up and tossed. Zero reassuming its role as placeholder for those vacationing still in touch. Done, done with. Loss, a beloved pet ever young. Gain and renewal, inevitable as the rising sun. A chorus not unlike birdsong or bees foraging, joined by hopeful amens, hope having been raised up many rungs to become far less tentative, much nearer to certainty.
Thank you. That's really lovely. Thank you very much.
Excuse me, but I better get going.
Okay, thank you very much. Whoever has
Send me
good
your email address.
You logged in, so you have the information. Are you from the California Poetry? Okay, let me type in the address quickly into the chat box so you see it there. Although I'm the easiest person to find on the internet because I'm so overpresent. Oh, well, there's one O in the com, so maya@moonrisepress.com. I misspelled something. I didn't see the screen, so hopefully you'll be able to copy that. Replace the ampersand with a monkey, as we call it, and use one O in a comma, and you're good. Okay, very good. So we have a couple poems we really like in this journal. So Bory will read one, and I read one, and then we'll go to the open mic. And if we have time at the end, we can read a couple more from the book if anybody wants to listen. It's almost 6 o'clock. We still have some time. So let's hear a poem. Which one you'd write?
Actually, my internet shuts down 6 o'clock. Sorry.
All right. Bye-bye then. Nice having you over. Bye-bye. Okay. Which one are you reading? Which one are you reading? I want to read Lotus Bearer.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm going to read Lotus Bearer by David Bethel, who is from San Diego, California. Lotus Bearer. 2 branches cradle me over a pond. 3 fingers split my umbilical. Blood mists bead form. The dew rests on my lips. Crystalline kiss. Lotus flower parishioner. Leaves cupped. Petals transmute sharp pain into red bliss. Self shattered at the gateway. My focus singular. My soul, this shrine, scared water, secret signed. I cannot forget the story, recite words that ripple off my tongue. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Temple roots whisper through the ground. Vibrations come back to me, deeply embedded, woven so tightly in the vegetation. Coarse dirt, like the warmest blanket, the capillaries release the energy as one, and I rise with them towards the sun. I am grateful to see. I've held onto what I've become. David Bethel, San Diego, California.
It's very interesting that you chose David Bethel.
I don't know.
Because he's also the 3rd collaborator in our next book.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, well, I guess I knew it somehow. Okay.
But that was good. I actually like
Okay.
that.
Okay, so how about Cindy?
Oh, yeah.
Since she brought us together.
what
Cindy
page
was,
is she on?
what was she? Oh, I missed that. Cindy Rin. I think she was towards it. Yeah, you're on the street 52.
Okay.
So it's Cindy Rin from San Bernardino, California. And through Cindy, I get to meet Bory and how Bory is here and how the California Quarterly 47 #1 came into being.
View down the street. Walk with my friend next to Yucca as early morning heat presses. Ahead on the dusty road, lone smooth stone rests in the center. She says, take it. It's for you. The dark rock fits in my palm, holds weight, perhaps a power stone. Mother Earth has offered the gift. Introduce myself, bless and ask if the stone wants to work with me. Returning home, I place it by my bed. Windwalker brings comfort when I don't feel well. In candlelight, my red bones unshackled, made sacred, closing the gap between me and myself. I rub my treasure across my shoulders and spine before going to sleep, chanting, I am safe, I am strong, I am enough.
Very nice. I really like that. I think that Bory picked a lot of great poems for this issue. So now we have some open mic readers waiting for the turn. We have Joe DiCenzo, I have Mira and Jean. I don't know if Jean there, but let's start with Mira because Joe seems to be talking on the phone. Mira, your turn. Yes, it's good. Okay, Mira, you will be the next readers. And we have Bielski, and Elena Bielski maybe he would like to read something as well. So please listen to Mira. Let me take this off the screen.
The book. I'm writing a book telling everybody, expecting them to understand, to smile and be impressed, curious to know more. After all, not everybody has a book. Would you like to know more? Here a short excerpt. See the design of cover, illustrations. Let me show you where did I save it. Wait a minute. I cannot find the file. I'm trying all. It's nowhere to be found. How is it possible? Am I losing my marbles? Was it just a dream? It's all right. I don't have to have a book to know I'm alive.
All right. Thank you, Mira. Okay, now we have Joe. It's your turn, Joe.
Thank you, everybody. Excuse me for that brief interruption. I have, in honor of Elizabeth and company, a quick haiku to read on her behalf. Oh, like there's any other kind of haiku. Music deep inside stimulates strings seldom strummed. Strike a note for love.
One more time.
One more time with the haiku. Music deep inside stimulates strings seldom strummed. Strike a note for love.
You.
And where I grew up, there was definitely I don't know how else to describe it. It was a geographical boundary in the area of Silver Lake, and the people I went to school with, everybody that lived on the north side and the hilly side of Silver Lake, their families were the more affluent, and I, was sort of insecure because my family was on the south side of Sunset Boulevard, and it didn't really strike me until I got to a dating age, and I had to, have enough nerve to go across Sunset Boulevard to approach somebody I was interested in. This is called The Wrong Side of Sunset. Long were those nights I aimlessly dreamed that there was no difference between you and me, that the setting sun would look the same regardless of the view from your hilltop or my bungalow flat, on the wrong side of sunset, trying to get across. For eons, it seemed, I stood waiting at the boundary's intersection for the light to turn green, for the flashing red man to turn white and permit me to walk off the curb onto the stretch of black asphalt dividing us, to walk over those painted lines, those imaginary lines between the prosperous and the sparse. It took little muscle to cross that 4-lane boulevard, but all the strength I had to approach your door. And for summer, this is how to build a campfire. It takes kindling, thin wood shavings seasoned in the summer heat, pine needles dry and crisp gathered from the ground beneath the limbs of trees that rank above our heads. Cotton threads torn fine as hair shredded from old t-shirts used to buff the car or polish furniture, pocket lint and fibers nesting birds weave into their roost, discarded paper, fast food wrappers, old receipts, or whatever else found in the back seat. It takes a spark, that inceptive burst where heat meets light, the kind of heat when two things rub together and temperatures rise like our initial touch. It takes fuel to build the fury, explicit plans that can combust into a wall of flames and conscious care to make it last. It takes space to vent the smoke. It takes oxygen so it can breathe. And at the last moment it starts feeling too hot to stand, it takes our willingness to let it burn. Thank you.
Very much. That was very nice for the summer. And this, invisible walls in LA, which I didn't know about until when I moved here. It was so surprising to me when I was explained that, oh, up to here is a safe neighborhood. But if you cross Bory Thach, or if you cross whatever, Coldwater or Ventura, it's completely dangerous. You can't even venture there, right? And people who live in Beverly Hills, they don't go to like Pasadena. It doesn't even exist. Downtown is the border when they could go as far east, right? So it's really interesting to hear about the invisible borders.
Or the last time I drove my dirty pickup truck into Pacific Palisades. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Okay, we have 2 more poems from the book because Bory didn't even read his. And I have a short poem before that by Sarah Platenius, who is from Tofino, British Columbia in Canada. I've been to British Columbia. I know how beautiful it is. So it's a poem about the beach. Constellation. Constellation of tiny sand dollars strewn across wet sand. I bend down, pick one up, uncharted wonderment, as fragile as a human heartbeat, one beat barely audible, strung together by an increment of time. What do I say to my son, who thinks the world of everyone, who refuses to believe some are ruthless, mean-spirited? Just this once, I trust not to break what I hold in this hard, calloused hand. Every moment of care, holding up an entire universe. What I like is she found a universe in a sand dollar, and then all and caring for the little dollar for the child is like carrying the heartbeat in your hand. It's just such a beautiful poem. Okay, Bory, your turn.
I really like that poem too.
Yeah, you picked it, so you must have liked it. Okay.
I think you and I, we like a lot of the same poems.
We do, actually, yes. Yes, very interesting. Okay.
So I would read, my poem is the last poem in this issue, so, and it's very short, so bear with me, please. At dawn, I wanted to sing a morning prayer for the sun. We sat on the banks and waited as fog hovered above the surrounding waters. I don't remember if I stared at you until the light hit your eyes, or until our silence was broken by bats that swooped over the river, swiping the mist like a hand cutting through smoke. Golden beams emanated from the horizon, their warm glow like glitter thrown onto the pool, the sun's rays wavering across our faces as we looked down at our rippling images. Thank you, everyone.
Bravo, thank you. That was awesome. All right, we have still the 2 people who haven't read today, Patricia Connor and Helena Bielski. So if you'd like to read something, and Jean also materialized with Mira. So Jean probably would like to read something, right? You still have a couple minutes. Okay, so let's go to Jean, and then Patricia Connor, if you have a poem to read, would be really nice, and Helena Bielski after that, and then we'll finish. Okay.
Some of you have heard this, but if I were a poem, and this one's knowing, if I were a poem, I'd float upon the ether in search of the soft cloud upon which you sleep. I would enter your dreams and stir your emotions with warmth and anticipation. As I course through your entire being, I will spread desire and a great need for self-expression. If I were a poem, I would rouse you from your slumber, inciting you to put life to the words I have washed over you. You would feel the great love that I and my words bring to you. You will know great greatness and power that such emotions convey. If I were a poem, you could shout my words for all to hear, sharing your joy and exhilaration. Maybe then you would truly know why you love to write, and I love you so.
That's not me.
Thank you, very, very sweet. Thank you very much. I'd love to have you both on our reading. It's awesome to have you back again. I still remember Jean took all the pictures at Bolton Hall Museum for us, which was great, and sometimes read, but not as often as on the Zoom. So that's nice to have you. Okay, do we have another reader still? Let me just paste the picture and then go back to the. Oh, something's happening. I think the hawk came over.
I think you said Patricia, wasn't it?
Patricia, yes, it's Patricia if she wants to read. Let's see if she's there. Patricia Connor, would you like to read a poem, Patricia?
No, I came to your poetry group with Elizabeth Yahn to support her. And I have no poem to share, but this has been a marvelous, marvelous evening. And I feel so rich from the gift of your poetry. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. And we're so happy because Elizabeth and her team did a spectacular job with the presentation.
Yes, yes.
The book is
Beautiful.
fantastic already.
Just beautiful.
It was just so
Thank
beautiful.
you.
And all the poets who read from the poetry from the book and other poets from the open mic. Oh, there's somebody one. Okay, Elizabeth. Okay, go for it, Elizabeth. We still have time. They will turn us off at 6:30. That's where the cutoff for the reading. Usually I try to do the full 2 hours. So, okay, you're muted. We can hear you. We have to unmute you. Ask to unmute. You have to unmute yourself. And then we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Okay, there you go. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, Elizabeth and I do a lot of traveling, or we did until the pandemic hit. Anyway, one of the things now that we're getting back to traveling, I thought I would dredge this one up that I wrote on a bus one time. It's called The Sightseer's Conundrum. A tourist taking an excursion on a motor bus must make a fast decision, after which he dare not fuss. He approaches this decision with an overtone of fright. Should he occupy the left side seat or sit down on the right? If your seat is on the right side, but the cathedral's on the left, what you see will be determined by the other fellow's heft. But if you choose the left, it's sure the interesting sight will not be seen by anyone not sitting on the right. Your camera will come back replete with images of hair from the backs of heads of other folks who all are sitting where, in a perfect world, had your guardian angel set the scene, is precisely the location where you wish that you had been. With your camera at the ready, you will gnash your teeth in fury, for the person blocking off your view is rarely in a hurry.
Very nice. All right. Any more from you? People sitting in the beautiful living room. Do you have another one from there?
I think that one other woman.
Okay, see. Let me see who else is there. Where is this?
No, we thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
No, we don't want to overdo our welcome.
Lena Bielski. Oh, Lena Bielski was here. Okay, so we'll
Yes.
next. Yes, read your poem.
May I read one of Elizabeth's from her book?
What? Of course. Anything.
Andy at the keyboard. Since I'm a piano teacher, I selected that one. Whether running up or down, Andy's fingers never frown. In his head are odes of joy. Isn't he a clever boy? Bach and Brahms are his close friends. He speaks in awe, admiring them. Jesu desiring, dreams inspiring. For 10 years in Culver City, Andy's cause for pause and praise, and sometimes serendipity. Now Fraser Park aspires to anthems and welcomes him with his new hymns to entertain pastoral flocks. Already ads appear in papers. Prepare thyself for Bach and a ball at our church on the hill. Messiah comes at Advent's call, and when day dims with silent night, those tones will linger low and light at evening's mist, and then be still.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That would be quite fitting to end with Elizabeth's poem as we started with her book. So it would be very nice. And
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, very nice choice. Very good poem. And I'd like
Renee,
to
can you hear me?
stay.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
I wanted to thank Lene. I didn't know that she was going to be able to show up. Lene was my little sister at Royal and Marymount University. And yeah, and Pat knew her. We were all in school together. So Lene, thank you so much. And my sister Marion, who is the illustrator, will be thrilled because Andy is her husband. Andy is a self-taught concert pianist, and we're frequently they frequently Zoom all over the world because they're a family of 8 from Hong Kong. So this is a really special thing that you did, Lene, and what a surprise for me. Thank you.
Okay.
My pleasure.
Thank
Congratulations on the book, Elizabeth.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to the featured poets and everybody who attended the reading. Thank you for sharing your work and sharing your good humor and persevering to the end, which is always important. So you heard both parts, both the book presentation and the California Quarterly presentation. And now I'm going to say goodbye. You'll get an email when we have our next reading. I haven't booked anything. When we had them in Bolton Home Museum, I booked well in advance. We had to negotiate the dates, and Dorothy got the dates, and then we will plan the poets to come on. And so it's not the case when we have to fly by the ear, so to speak, but we do have some plans for the future. So be mindful of what you receive from Village Poets. So on behalf of Village Poets, I would like to thank all the poets who participated and say that I really liked it, and I really am very grateful, especially to Joe, who started it for everybody when I was still Zooming on the freeway. Thank you very much, Joe. And thanks to all the poets who participated. And now I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here. Okay.
Bye and thank you.
Okay, and meeting for all.